like it here where I am.
By 1969, Nancy Sinatra had accomplished musical feats that most artists only dream of. She had countless hits on the charts, traveled the world to share her music, recorded 7 studio albums in a mere 2 years, had a #1 hit duet with her dad, produced her own pioneering music film, and helped define the style and fashion of an era. After 3 years in the spotlight and at the forefront of pop music, Nancy Sinatra found herself in an unexpected yet familiar position, much like in early 1965. She was once again without a producer, without new songs, and fighting to stay on her label. How did this happen? In January 1968, while Nancy and her producer Lee Hazlewood were finishing off the Nancy and Lee duet album, they also recorded Nancy's singles 100 Years and Happy.
I'm not gonna say everything is okay, 'cause okay is not the way.
During the sessions, they made a first attempt at recording the song Longtime Woman.
We're rolling. Long time woman, long time getting there too. Long time take 2. Long time.
Longtime Woman was written by Bob Lind, a singer-songwriter most well known for his beautiful 1966 hit, Elusive Butterfly. The song would eventually wind up on her next album, but that version, recorded a year later in January 1969, would be completely different. As 1968 progressed, Nancy was as busy as ever. She performed her hit single 100 Years and Storybook Children on The Ed Sullivan Show. The Elvis film Speedway, co-starring Nancy, was released. The soundtrack featured Nancy's song Your Groovy Self. It was the only time another singer had a solo song on an Elvis soundtrack. To top it off, her duet album, Nancy and Lee, peaked at number 13 on the Billboard 200 albums chart. On June 13th and 14th, Nancy, producer Lee Hazlewood, and arranger Billy Strange hit the studio with plans to record Nancy's next album. The prolific sessions yielded over 10 songs. Nancy would describe the set of groovy recordings as disco, but the project was all but abandoned. Only Nice and Easy, Good Time Girl, and Old Devil Moon from the sessions would be released in the 1960s.
It's gonna be so easy.
Nice and Easy was paired as the B-side with Happy, which would be Nancy's last ever single to feature a Lee Hazlewood composition as the A-side. Good Time Girl and Old Devil Moon would be released as the follow-up to Happy, but by that point Nancy and Lee were not working together and would not reunite until 1971 for the album Nancy and Lee Again.
It's that old devil moon that you stole from the skies. Present for my brother, choo-choo train. I'm just walking right in, sit right down. Daddy, let your mind roll on. If you were a rich man, yeah, da 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 da.
Lee Hazlewood had been Nancy's producer, duet partner, and had written many of her hits. The pair had a 3-year stellar run of wild success. After many trips to Europe, including an extravagant visit to Paris to record his solo album Love and Other Crimes on Reprise Records' dime, Lee suddenly moved to Sweden. After a half-century, the reasons for his exodus remained murky and mysterious. Nancy was surprised and hurt, but she kept moving and evolving. She found a producer in Billy Strange, her friend and longtime arranger, who would go on to produce many of her records throughout the 70s and play a key role in her live performances. With Billy, she helped discover a fresh and talented songwriter, Mac Davis. Nancy and Billy signed Mac to their B&B publishing company, and she began performing his songs, including Sock It To Me Sunshine on The Ed Sullivan Show in May of 1968.
Sock it to me, sunshine. Spring is here at last. Kids, I'm just in love and I love it. Hello, LA, bye-bye, Birmingham.
Despite Mac's ubiquitous presence in Nancy's career for a brief moment, their partnership was short-lived, and Mac would break out on his own and become a superstar in the 1970s. With Hazlewood out of the picture, Billy Strange in the producer's chair, and Mac Davis penning tunes, Nancy began work on her next album.
God knows I love you. God knows I do.
The first session was held on October 11th, 1968 at United Recorders. They cut the Mac Davis song, I'm Just in Love. The Blue-Eyed Soul track set the tone for the album. Nancy was backed by a large orchestra featuring her usual Los Angeles session musicians, also known as the Wrecking Crew. Familiar musicians like Don Randy, Carol Kay, Hal Blaine, Al Casey, Chuck Berghofer, Red Rhodes, Tommy Tedesco, and so many more contributed their magic to the production.
Memories pressed between the pages of my mind.
The album was tracked from mid-October 1968 to mid-January 1969. Stylistically, the diverse album features the country fried funk of God Knows I Love You and Son of a Preacher Man, timeless ballads like Memories and Here We Go Again,
Here we go again.
and the breathtaking orchestral, bluesy, down-tempo funk version of The Doors' Light My Fire that needs to be heard to be believed. In addition to recording the album, Nancy had begun performing extensively in Las Vegas, bringing an orchestra and the Wrecking Crew with her. She filmed Movin' on Stage in 1969, the follow-up to her acclaimed 1967 film Movin' with Nancy. Movin' on Stage featured Nancy's Las Vegas stage show, which included performances from Nancy, the Blossoms, and the Osmonds.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I present my drummer man, Mr. Hal Blaine. Hush, hush, little baby, don't you cry.
This album, simply titled Nancy, sits alone in her discography. Hidden between her iconic 1960s albums and her funkier 1970s work, it's a transitional album, her swan song for Reprise Records, a fan favorite of the faithful, and ripe for rediscovery.
Big boss man. Can't you hear me?